morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, September 18th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Thursday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. After yesterday's Fed, you had the Fed rate decision here to drop rates by 25 basis points here. We have a new FOMC key level that's come out to the right here. You can see that FOMC key level 665.5. So 66.65.5 is that new FOMC key level. We're currently above yesterday's high, and this is where you're going to want to watch very closely to see if there's any failure above prices above that high. If so, we could be looking at a rotation back in. Any push through this mid could open up some selling pressure. Do we go outside day down by the end of the day, or does this remain kind of a bullish bias against that FOMC key level? Last time around, here's your Fed level. Prices were trading way up here, very similar to what we're seeing now. By the end of the day, they had overtaken the previous mid and pushed to an outside day down, leading to selling pressure over the next couple of days. Not saying that is exactly how it plays out this time around, but we're in the similar position again. And if we take out that high, we could be looking at a mid and maybe even lower down the road. Now, if this thing can take and keep that FOMC key level bid, then there could be an early push out of that range. Once we're done, we snap back to it. So which way we're going to go away from this FOMC key level? Up ahead. Right now, still trending up, still melting up until proven otherwise. Any significant pullback could still be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. Looking at the NQ, similar price action out of the NQ here. Previous session, that's your FOMC key level, 24,455.75. Price here going bid here at the after hours reopen, really taking a solid move to the upside, well beyond 2-day highs, all-time highs, as this thing makes a move away from that Fed level. Again, if this is the way we're going away from the level, you would tend to see price rally until we see a rejection, and then perhaps come back for a retest of that level down the road. Again, we'll see if that's the play that kind of develops out of this range. So right now, showing quite a bit of strength since the overnight and pre-market here, hanging out near the highs of the day. Again, watching to see, do we fall back into the range below, or do we remain a bullish price discovery phase here today in the NQ? The NQ, quite a bit more bullish here, trending higher above intraday VWAP. Any pullback toward intraday VWAP could still be a buying opportunity on the day time frame basis. Looking at crude oil, this one is up 0.6% right now. Again, this one trying to piece together a little bit of strength here. We have this great rounded bottom, great compression of energy here. Can we get through 65s and open up some upside here? Get into 66, maybe 67 up ahead. That's your previous high and value right there. We're pulling back right now into the 64 zone again, and now pulling back out of it. So again, can this market gather itself and find some strength down the road, at least short-term strength, before we hit a seasonal wall of weakness here? Because remember, right here in about that zone right here, first, second week of October, that tends to be the high before you see a drop into mid-December. So do we get a pop before that and then kind of rotate back down? Seasonally speaking, that's something to continue to watch here with crude oil. Looking at gold, this one's down 0.4% right now. 3,700 at the moment. After the Fed level, you can see this one actually pulled back, whereas the equity futures all kind of rallied on their FOMC key level, at least as of right now. This one actually pulled back into the bullish Pima trigger zone for the first time, testing prices below the 8-period average. That tends to be quite bullish again for another rotation up. This market remains in a bullish price discovery phase, currently holding the LVN channel here. There's another one basically down here. Those two major support levels right there. And again, if we're pushing through, we're driving through 37.5 into 38 and beyond, as this market continues to work its way toward 4,000 down the road. So very bullish overall. Any pullback continues to be a buying opportunity. Got to keep an eye on how the market responds to the Fed level, because it was offered yesterday. Is it offered on a retest that takes us down a little bit? Or can this thing take it bid? So watching that retest very closely. Looking at the YM here, you'll see the YM continues to remain at all-time highs. One level to continue to watch, again, the previous session's high price. Right now that level's getting a lot of action here at the moment. If you zoom in here, you can see that's your previous session's high. Here's your Fed level, and price is trading mostly within that range. Here pre-market, we've seen price push beyond the high, bounce off the high, then take the high offered back down. So clearly there's some movement and action off that previous session's high. Can it rise back above it, or does it start to find resistance back down? Again, this market just remains in kind of a squeeze here, a melt up phase. Hard to be long on a new position, hard to be short. You got to continue to hold any positions that continue to provide here, but at the same time trimming along the way. There could be a broader pullback at some point, and even if it's just a short-term 1 or 2 day pullback, that could still provide a buying opportunity for a continuation higher. This market remains quite bullish overall. At some point we might find that big rejection, and maybe it happens sooner than later. We're coming into a major overhead market structure level at 47K from the 45K level. That's your next major market structure level up, even though we've never tested it. This is R3, 3 standard deviations above value right now, so we could begin to get a little toppy before maybe a rotation back into 45K down below. Any rotation there would be a buying opportunity back up. So that's the path here, keeping an eye on 47K. Looking at Bitcoin, this one's up 1.5% right now. We've talked about the previous month's midpoint. Continues to be a battle at that zone here. If it can leave it behind, it opens up some upside for a bit of an expanding range. If it fails here, we're still in the lower half of that range. But this thing's still kind of building some energy here. Doesn't really have a lot of juice to really suggest this thing is headed much higher. Doesn't really suggest it's headed lower. It looks like it's found a range here, and it's just kind of in that range, precisely at the center of that range right now. Doesn't really have a whole lot of directional conviction either way. We do have a new FOMC key level that has come out. It's right around the 115 and change. Let's see, right here. 115.925 is that new FOMC key level. The last one 6 weeks ago was 118.6. So not a lot of difference here between those two, kind of in the same zone as this market just kind of hangs out near this area. Looking at ETH, this one is up 1.5% right now. We talked about this compression right here. That's a lot of compression. That's a lot of energy. After a significant move to the upside, this can look a little heavy and maybe leads to a bit of a rotation, but until proven otherwise, this thing continues to work its way higher, and at some point perhaps we do see a failure of this range to the downside. That could provide a longer term buying opportunity if we saw a pullback develop. So again, very bullish overall, but hanging up here in a range that really isn't providing a whole lot of clarity at the moment. Got to let it continue to build out at these highs. The new FOMC key level right here at 41.5. The previous one a little bit lower here, right in around the 38.50 zone. That one right there. That level was the last one. We're just a little bit above it. Do we take this one off or retest this one back up? How does this thing play out here? But you got that range to contend with right now as it continues to build out and build energy for the next major move. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.